Akashvani, Mangaluru presents Voices from the Bookshelf in collaboration with Bookaholics, Mangaluru. Dear listeners, welcome to today's episode of Voices from Bookshelf. Let us lend our ears to Dr. Prajakta Kulkarni, who will speak about the book Lenin by Sheryl Sandberg in the genre of feminist literature.
In this book, Sheryl Sandberg examines why women's progress in achieving leadership roles has stalled. She offers solutions that can empower women to achieve their full potential. At the outset, I would like to introduce the author Sheryl Sandberg in a few words. She has worked in a very powerful positions as a VP of Global Online Sales and Operations in Google and Chief Operating Officer and a board member of Facebook that's now known as Meta. She is the founder and chairperson of Lean In Foundation that promotes women's leadership and gender equality. Presently, she is the co-founder of Sandberg Bernthal Venture Partners that invest in startups, especially in health, artificial intelligence, and social impact sectors. Friends, I was curious to know what this title of the book, Lean In, means. So I looked up, and here's what I found. The phrase lean in means to actively pursue your goals with confidence, assertiveness, and ambition, especially when you are facing systemic and internal barriers. So it contrasts with the phrase lean back, meaning to step away, stay quiet, or to withdraw. The typical things that women tend to do, right? I don't think there could be a better title to this book than Lean In. The author points out how women are so much less in number at the powerful positions in government sector or in the top positions in corporate world. She highlights obvious as well as subtle discrimination that women face even in today's so-called progressive society. The women are paid less than men for equal amount or same quality of work. Women have to prove themselves to a far greater extent than men do. Also, many women face sexual harassment at workplace. These are the hurdles that society imposes to professional growth of women. But something that resonated with me is the fact that internal hurdles the women face. Let me quote a paragraph from the book to explain this. Sandberg says, in addition to external barriers erected by society, women are hindered by barriers that exist within ourselves. We hold ourselves back in ways both big and small by lacking self-confidence, by not raising our hands, and by pulling back when we should be leaning in. We internalize the negative messages we get throughout our lives. The messages that say it's wrong to be outspoken, aggressive, more powerful than men. We lower our own expectations of what we can achieve. We continue to do the majority of housework and childcare. We compromise our career goals to make room for partners and children who may not even yet exist. Compared to our male colleagues, fewer of us aspire to senior positions. It is absolutely true. And I'm sure many women listeners can relate to this. So in order to succeed, women not only have to fight with the societal oppression, but at the same time, they also need to deal with the internal struggle that's going on in their own minds. She tries to analyze why so many women drop out of their career midway. She says that men don't have to choose one from personal and professional life. But a woman needs to make a choice. She can either have a personal life with fulfilling motherhood or she can be a successful professional, but not both. Why is it so? During the same years of life that the careers usually demand maximum time investment, women's biological clock starts ticking. Working mothers have a huge feeling of guilt of leaving their child under someone else's care while they work. They need to do guilt management as much as they need to do the time management. Most husbands do not share the responsibility of housework and upbringing of children. So, women have to do 2 full-time jobs. While this is the scene at home, the workplace also does not give the flexibility that is needed to fulfill women's domestic and childcare responsibilities. The flexibility could be brought about by making policy changes in the workplace, which is possible only and only if there are female leaders, female decision makers high up in the company. Apart from these challenges, women are reluctant to take risks and advocate themselves or project their success. We all know that nowadays these things are so very necessary for one's professional growth. But girls are discouraged from this kind of behavior since childhood. A woman is professionally aggressive or very ambitious, she is not liked by the society. This leads to the leadership ambition gap and is the reason for so less women being at the top management level. Hey, if you don't aim for something, how will you achieve it, right? Women are even afraid to aim high. Sandberg says, fear is at the root of so many of the barriers that women face. Fear of not being liked, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of drawing negative attention, fear of overreacting, fear of being judged, fear of failure, and the holy trinity of fear, the fear of being a bad mother, wife, daughter. Guys, I'm going to always remember something fantastic that she said next. Here goes. So, please ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And then go do it. Wow, I'm going to try and follow this advice, and I think it is going to change my life for better. Other than this fear, another internal struggle women face is something called as imposter syndrome. When women are praised for their accomplishments, instead of feeling worthy of recognition, they feel undeserving and guilty, as if some mistake has been made. Despite being high achievers and even experts in their fields, women can't seem to shake the sense as if they are a fraud. This self-doubt emerges from the fact that women judge themselves, their abilities, very harshly. They tend to underestimate themselves. Women tend to internalize the failure. They tend to internalize others' opinion and judgment about them, and this affects their future performance. Listeners, deep down in your heart, how many of you recognize this feeling? She suggests a fake it till you make it strategy to solve this problem of lack of confidence. She says women need to fake the confidence till they actually feel confident. They need to be brave and take opportunities and bend them to suit their own skills. They need to believe in their abilities. This is the way to grow. Sandberg observes that success and likability are positively correlated for men, but negatively for women. When a man is successful, he is liked by both men and women. But when a woman is successful, people of both genders like her a little less. For women, self-doubt becomes a form of self-defense in this kind of situations. In order to protect themselves from being disliked, women question their abilities and downplay their achievements, especially in front of others. Women put themselves down before others can do it. This poses a big hurdle for women when it comes to negotiating for themselves. But surprisingly, women can negotiate as good as men or sometimes even better if they are negotiating for someone else. Typically, career growth is depicted as a climbing ladder, that is getting promoted in the same company. But Sandberg suggests a model of jungle gym instead of a ladder. The jungle gym model benefits everyone, but especially women who might be starting careers, switching careers, getting blocked by external barriers, or re-entering the workforce after taking time off. Thus, women should not insist on progressing in their careers in the ladder form, but they should be open to changes. For example, join a different company, to jump different career path, to learn new skills, etc. In order to keep moving higher, they need to skip the ladder pattern. Women also need to be more open to taking risks in their careers. Women are also more reluctant to apply for promotions even when they deserve. They often believe that good job performance will automatically lead to the rewards, which never happens. Sandberg has some advices as well as for the readers. She suggests ways to negotiate what one deserves without being disliked. She gives some tips about constructive criticism, speaking truthfully without hurting others' feelings. She urges women to support other women in their career path instead of perceiving them as competitors. She urges women not to think of feminism as one more derogatory F word. We are where we are because of hardship of the feminist people in the past. She tells women not to leave before you actually leave. I found this one very interesting. Women rarely make one big decision to leave the workplace. Instead, they make a lot of small decisions along the way, making accommodations and sacrifices that they believe will be required to have a family in future. Of all the ways women hold themselves back, perhaps the most pervasive is that they leave before they actually leave. Another very important advice she gives women is to make their life partner a real partner at home. The husband needs to share domestic and childcare responsibilities, and women need to resist the urge to micromanage and criticize how tasks are done. Men often feel discouraged if they are told only one right way to do things, whether it's where to put a dish or how to fold the laundry. A woman cannot be in a leadership position if her life partner is not fully supportive of her career. Father's active participation is also healthier in a child's development. I liked reading this book very much. On many occasions, I felt that the author was writing my own thoughts. I could relate with a lot of challenges faced by women, especially the internal struggles. She has written the anecdotes of her experiences to make her point in the book. The language used is simple to understand. She has provided a list of research articles used for reference, which tells us that her writing is based on evidence rather than just emotions. Every woman should read this book to become aware of the discrimination and oppression that we are facing, because awareness is the first step in making a change. Every man should read this book to understand the challenges of a working spouse or a fellow female co-worker. Reading this book may motivate men to make a little extra effort to make women's lives a bit easier. I totally share author's dream that someday our society will transcend beyond all the gender-based stereotypes and biases and be truly equal. I would like to conclude this review with a quote from Lenin that I like. In the future, there will be no female leaders. There will be just leaders. Thank you.
You were listening to Dr. Prajakta Kulkarni speaking on the book Lenin by Sheryl Sandberg in the genre of feminist literature. This is today's Voices from the Bookshelf. See you next episode.